I just got off this bus in Cartago. It was actually a long wait, maybe because it's the interweek between Christmas and New Year's. That's actually a bus to Turrialba, but I waited a long time for a bus to Cartago, and then that one showed up and I asked and they gave me a lower fare to go to Cartago. So I hope that where I'm going from here is available because it is that week. If not, I'll just walk around Cartago. Hopefully I'll find a bus back. I always like visiting Cartago for various reasons, including I just like feeling cold sometimes, or at least a little bit chilly. So there's my bus to Cot, on the way to Tierra Blanca, where we've been before, but not for a while. It might take a while, but there is a file, so I know not too long. Well, I got off that bus. I'm in Cot, and I don't know what that means. I'm just going to walk around town a little bit, but I didn't actually come to see the town exactly. So I can't parse exactly what to call a town like this. It is surrounded by fields, so I think this is a farming village, so to speak. And this is halfway up from Cartago to Tierra Blanca. And not a whole lot to see in the city itself. We do have the obligatory church. I actually came because I wanted to walk in the country and in a cool place. If we look down that way, that would be the Valley of Cartago. Don't know if we'll get a good view, but I'm going to walk this way. Alto. Yes, we are. So one thing I've noticed even more than usual is that there's less of a separation between residential and commercial. So you see little tiendas that are in people's houses, or they're interspersed with the houses. So less of a separation between commercial life and residential life here. That's one thing I've noticed, which makes sense. It's a smaller town. You might even say a village. And we have a great view from here. This is why I came here. And so if you look over at those line of hills, that would be Cachi and the Valley of Orosi. And in that direction would be Cervantes. Those clouds are over Cervantes. So we're above the clouds and above Cervantes. And I'm walking down this road. And we have a horse, donkey, mule. Zoom in. Those ears look kind of long. I'm not sure from here. And as I said, that's usually a sign that you have an easy place to walk. Although in this case, there are a lot of trucks around here too. We actually have two horses here. Yeah, those are horses. Different type of horses than I'm used to, though. So one thing that I'm a little unclear on, and maybe the footage makes it easy for you to see, is what the income level of this town is, because in some ways it looks poorer than what I'm used to. Certainly looks poorer than Tierra Blanca or San Isidro de Heredia, other hill towns. But some of that can be deceptive, because when you have a area that's still actively involved in production, a lot of times you're going to have like a lot of hardware and a lot of scrappy stuff, because that's people's jobs. Another thing, we only have at high altitudes crucifers. And as you can see here, once we reach the edge of town, stops pretty suddenly, and then right over there's some type of fields. In this case, that certainly looks like a cow. Looked like a cow from a distance. That's not a cow. Looks like this could be dairy fields, though. There's also a steep road to walk down. I'm hoping that most of this walk will be more or less level, but it might involve a lot of up and down. And the down is going to hurt just as much as the up. So as mentioned, like just interspersed with the town, you have fields. This looks like it's newly planted in a small amount of area. I can't tell what that is, especially maybe because it's just newly planted. Crucifers, dandelions, true dandelions. This could be growing by the side of the road in Benton County. Other things here couldn't, but some of them could. And right by the side of the road, you have this creek. Nice little mountain creek. Look at those rocks. And like I've said so many times, in so many other places, this would be a park and a tourist attraction. Here, people just kind of forget it or ignore it. And I don't know the name of this creek, but there's a good chance that this is the headwaters of one of the major rivers. Or maybe it's just a creek. But I think this is one of the rivers that flows down into Cartago and then ends up behind the dam. Well, I guess they all have to end up behind the dam, but I don't know which one this is specifically. And up ahead, we have the road, and my plan was to walk from Cot to the next road that direction, And I don't know how far that plan will go because I don't know what this road will be like. As I've said many times, with country roads like this, it could be a wonderful, tranquil walk, or it could be strode hell. Although in this case, not exactly a strode. There will probably not be any Taco Bells on this road. And this road, it actually parallels the road between Paso and Cervantes, about 800 feet up in elevation or so for the next couple miles. And also, I believe that I will be able to get a bus ride back. But all of these things are things that we will find out. That's why we go out and see these things. That certainly looks like a bus shelter, a festive one too. And where there's bus shelters, festive or not, there's probably buses. And I just stepped across the street for a minute because I wanted to show what the slopes look like. And there are roads down there, so I could go and walk in those fields. Not today, but that is in the cards. So, somewhat disappointing news. This road is not a little quiet country lane, but it also does have sidewalks. Not super busy, and I do have a little bit of a shoulder, but not the most tranquil country lane I've ever walked on. But the views continue to be worth it. So we continue to have parada de autobuses, although I haven't seen one. On the way here, I did actually see a bus that said Picayas, so I assume they're running today, but maybe at a very slow rate. And in other news, I found on Google Maps that this is like a little gravel road that will skip past that road. And I'm always a little bit skeptical of what Google Maps says about roads in Costa Rica, but what's the worst that could happen? Famous last words. I don't know what it is about me, but walking down a gravel road like this, one of the things that makes me happiest, and I'm happier doing this than if I was really like walking down a beautiful curated trail in a park, most likely. Maybe it's because this is the void. So there is some up and down on this road, and there is some, I'm at a higher altitude, so this is tiring. So apparently this is Boqueron de Oreamuno, and we've been to Oreamuno before in Cartago, so this canton is kind of like a wedge. And as you can also see from here, this is not a tiny little mountain village, and it doesn't look like it's a poor place. We also still have bus shelters, and there were some people waiting at that bus shelter, so I think there are buses today, just might be not very common. And I'm going to continue to walk this way, especially because now I have a sidewalk. Follow the yellow brick road. It also refers here to Cipreses, and according to my map, somewhere in this direction, that is my destination. But we'll see if that area is really a place or just a name on a map. Well, there is the bus route I'm looking for. And hopefully it runs pretty often. It might run once an hour. Still not that bad. I mean, I went out in the middle of the Christmas week. I should know what I'm getting into. Well, my sidewalk disappeared, but I do have some shoulder, and shouldn't have to walk that much further. This is another site that if I overlooked a few things, I could be back in Oregon. You know, the weird thing is, despite having to dodge trucks and walk along here, there are a few things and a few times that I feel as happy as I do right now. And even though there's been a few stresses on this trip, compared to like when I went to Hako was just a lot of stress for me. Tried to have fun, didn't really feel it, but this just feels effortless to me for a reason. Maybe that. Well, that's a good sign. Bienvenidos a Cipreses. This is where I'm looking for. Now, what will hopefully happen is that I will get there right before the once-an-hour bus drives by and not right after, but I'm happy with whatever happens at this point. More or less completed my mission. So, obvious point, this is a very agricultural region, and there's the exportadora. So probably lots of cash crops growing around here. Maybe coffee. I've seen some coffee. It might be other things as well. Look at all that water flowing. It hasn't rained today. I brought my umbrella, but haven't needed it. I talked to a man at the bus station. He said, or at the bus stop, he said once an hour and that it should come in 20 minutes. So I'm just going to walk up this road to the next stop, and maybe he's a little bit wrong. Bus will pass me by. Won't leave here till after dark. So what? Stuff happens. Spirit of adventure. I'm also not 100% sure if this is the road that the buses go down and there will be another bus stop, or whether I have to go back down to where this splits from the main road. Those are the type of things you just have to guess at when you're walking around. So this is Cipreses de Oreamuno. This is a district of Oreamuno Canton, which is a canton in Cartago that goes down to where the station is on the road between main part of Cartago and Paso. It's something I'm always interested in when I go to a place like this. Sometimes I'll talk about the technical jurisdiction. This is a distrito, a district. Then we also have town, village, rural area, suburban area. Talk about those things a lot, and it comes from my own experience, but for now, I'm just going to walk down this road for a little while and let you kind of form your own vision of what this is. Okay, put down your pens and make your decision. I've seen this sign for Adico. Yeah, it talks about Adico, and I even saw a store called Adico. Don't know what that means. That's not a district and not a village, or not anything I recognize, but it's several signs using that name. And here we have what looks to be the future site of a park. Here we are constructing the recreational park Adico for the community Cipreses de Oreamuno, and of course, if I would have just been here 15 minutes earlier, I could come here and spend some time here. But right now, I just want to show that this exists. This is an idea for a park. Nice little place. Any nature is nice. You can see that rich soil. But for now, I do want to go back because now that I know the time of the bus, I don't want to miss it by 2 minutes. So going back, I actually don't know where this bus goes. It goes to Cartago, but maybe a different part of Cartago, so there might still be some more walking to be done. Well, here we see the Association for the Development Integral of Cipreses de Oreamuno, and there's a Plataforma de Servicios. So I don't know everything that means, but so I'm walking back to this bus stop because the people that were waiting at the other bus stop stopped waiting. Hopefully the guy will still be there and the bus can come from the other direction and pick him up. Those are the things I have to think about for taking trips like this, but you know, I'm having fun, as mentioned. So I just got off the bus in Cartago, walking back to the bus station to go back to San Jose. And one question we have to ask in this journey: am I the journal or the journalist? So sometimes when I make these videos, I'm just a guy with a camera and I just make kind of a recording of what I see around me. And other times, like the decisions I make and kind of the process I'm going through, sometimes with having to worry or feeling frustrated, that's kind of the point. And today we did see a lot of that. By the way, so I have to remember, it might board here, it might board back where it got off. Anyway, so today was more focused on my trip, and some things were very specific, but hopefully it's still of interest to others. Also, as mentioned, I really like Cartago, and I really like the farm country above Cartago. Very restful and peaceful. Not the #1 tourist attraction in Costa Rica, but honestly I think these mountain towns should be further up. Maybe that's just my own bias. Anyway, so I will be going more places along here, but I do have to kind of plan for it because like that bus only goes once an hour, and so I have to kind of plan my day a little bit better. Anyway, so one of my last trips of 2024, if not my very last. I think my first trip of 2024 was also to Cartago, so there's a pattern there. But you know, in the coming year, we'll be seeing a lot of stuff and hopefully lots of videos.